Squid Game: The Challenge, Netflix's reality show based on their own hit series Squid Game, was never going to be a good idea. Of course, such a shameless and opportunistic attempt to capitalize on the incisive creativity of creator Hwang Dong-hyuk was not all that surprising, considering the streamer never even paid him fairly despite the value he created for them. So why wouldn't they cannibalize the satire about capitalism by taking its imagery, musical cues, sets, and costumes while spitting in the face of all the themes he had been exploring? Respect for his vision and what he was getting at goes about as far as the money they could make. When this reality series was first announced, it already felt doomed to be a stain in comparison to an otherwise great show. What couldn't have been predicted is that Squid Game: The Challenge is more callous and cruel than even its many skeptics imagined. From the moment the series begins, there is already a sense that you are watching a bizarre nightmare that would be funny if it weren't so sad. While reality television is no stranger to preying upon people's vulnerability by dangling a life-changing amount of money in front of them, it is hard to think of one that so fully creates the feeling that the form itself was a mistake and should be burned to the ground. Contestants will openly talk about how they need money to support themselves or their family, which the challenge then exploits in order to add stakes to an imitation of a satire whose original point was how wrong something like this is. If someone created a series about a world where people have to beg for their lives on GoFundMe and are then pitted against each other, that is pretty close to what the experience of watching Squid Game: The Challenge is like. Over the course of 8 episodes out of a 10-episode season shared with critics, everything in Squid Game: The Challenge is handled with a continually distasteful approach. Frequently, the competitors will become stressed to the point of breaking down in tears. We're shown such moments in close-ups that feel like the equivalent of a vulture circling over a dying animal. The only difference is that the vulture is hunting for its own survival, whereas this series is uniquely human in its cruelty. It plays upon your feelings of compassion and then just keeps exploiting them. When compounded by the economic struggles that people are coming into the competition with, it makes Squid Game: The Challenge downright disgusting to watch. The contestants do not deserve judgment, since the entire purpose of the reality that informed the premise of the original series is that people will do desperate things when pushed to the edge. As this is a reality show, antagonists are elevated so that there is some sort of conflict to keep things moving, but the real villain of it all is the series itself. If the corrupt forces of capitalism could be made into a shambling corpse of television, it would look like Squid Game: The Challenge. Everything drags on and on through various challenges that are derivative of the original series in all regards, while also doing a complete disservice to what Squid Game achieved. There are allegedly fresh games that are introduced, yet even these are sourced from elsewhere, and when they end, the program relentlessly returns to the undeniable truth that exploits both the original creators of the show and the participants. It genuinely gives the impression that Squid Game: The Challenge would be deemed excessively explicit if it appeared in a dystopian movie illustrating the exploitation of individuals for amusement. The main problem with it all is that the original series was not only a great show in terms of its storytelling, but it was also an effective satire. The challenge is not a dumbed-down version of Squid Game, but rather for those who actively reject any form of deeper contemplation. While it briefly touches on some complex questions underlying its existence, this is merely superficial and lacks genuine care or substance. The various gimmicks it incorporates cannot conceal its inherent moral bankruptcy. When we reflect on the rise of streaming, Squid Game: The Challenge will be the show that witnessed the depths of hell and chose to sink even lower. Thanks for watching. Support incynema by clicking subscribe, like this video, and leave your opinion in the comment section. Bye.